Hello and welcome to the Geek Shed podcast, where we're going to be discussing everything sport related, from wrestling, football, that's soccer to you Americans, F1 as well, and we'll also be covering movies and TV series, which will be pretty good to cover, especially with 2021 that we're in now and new content that has been unfortunately delayed due to the obvious, and the new content coming out movie wise. A lot of films that I've been waiting for is the new Batman. Also Top Gun. I'm an 80s kid. Love the first movie. Not sure about the second, but I'm excited. It's going to take me back to my childhood. So first of all, we'll introduce ourselves. My name's Chris, and I've been wanting to do a podcast for the last couple of years, and now finally got the equipment I need to start it. And I'm also with my co-host Tom.
Hello.
Hello. So Tom, tell me a little bit about yourself. What are your general interests and reason for wanting to be on the podcast?
So basically, I think it's because we both share the same interests, very similar. So sports, TV, movies, wrestling, and it's a lot of stuff I think we could talk about for hours. We've even proved it without a microphone before. We just said if you stuck a microphone here, it'd be really interesting.
Yeah, we've said that a number of times, haven't we? We just had a microphone recording random and we're having discussions. It'd be really cool to play it back and then also get other people's input. So what today's episode is going to be about, since it's our first, I thought we'd talk about WrestleMania. That's on the horizon this Sunday, Saturday even. It's a two-nighter, isn't it? Let's have a little chat about WrestleMania. So first off, I've been a wrestling fan since 1999. I would have been 13 at the time. My cousin got me into it. That was when the Attitude Era was just
at its peak.
At its peak, I think it was more or less come to its end, wasn't it, in 1999? Because he had the 2000s, and then the new era took over.
The Ruthless Aggression era.
The Ruthless Aggression era. Let's not discuss that. But yeah, the 1999 was big for me because so there's no social media. There's none of that. There's no mobile phones, in the sense that you couldn't browse the internet on a mobile phone.
Yeah.
Websites were limited.
Dial-up computers.
Not a lot of people had computers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember using the school one to look on websites about wrestling news and stuff.
Yeah.
And even then, it was still kayfabe. For you guys who don't know what kayfabe is, it's led to believe that what's going on in the wrestling world is real. And you couldn't really escape from that. Like you had people always trying to say, "Oh, it's not real" or whatever, it's fake. But then you had the people that were like saying, "Oh no, it's not. It's great. It's real. They're really fighting." And there's always that really 50-50 thing behind that. You have the believers and the non-believers. I was a believer at first, and obviously you start to realise as you get older, this is.
I think everyone is though at the same time. Like, at a certain age, that's when you believe that it's.
Yeah, you pick it up at a certain age.
Exactly, yeah.
I think with social media now, though, it's ruined it, because I reckon you could probably get up to like 13, 14 without really realising that.
Without social media.
Exactly, but now social media, at a very early age, and even wrestlers themselves now, they wouldn't be seen doing interviews and stuff, talking about the character and talking about being friends with an enemy on screen.
Yeah.
Whereas now you get it all the time, which is a bit frustrating for the younger generation, because they might get a little bit confused. My kid's not into it at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, that's another thing as well. It's surprises. It eliminates the element of surprise.
Social media's ruined that, and websites have ruined that. News media ruined the surprise. I used to love that.
Yeah.
You're watching Raw, and all of a sudden someone's music hits. He's been out of an injury for 8 months, and then the crowd go nuts, and he just gets every hair on your body on end, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that was 1999 for me. I think my first, I can't remember the first match I watched, but it was with the Brood. I think we're taking on part of the corporate ministry. You remember that?
No.
You how old you? 95 you were born, weren't you? So you're 4.
Yeah. So.
You won't remember that?
No, I'm actually impressed that you remember that far back as well.
Oh no, that's a milestone. That's.
Is it really?
That's the first time I really got. Even though it's not classed as a sport. That's when I started getting into sport.
Yeah.
I started to like wrestling. I got into football not long after. So I think it set a precedent. It also taught me self-defense a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Because we all used to play about the kid. Don't try this at home.
Oh.
But we all did it.
Don't try at home, but everyone does it anyway.
Me and you had some good matches.
We damaged a few furniture, but...
Exactly. So, yeah, that's where I got into it. 1999. Been a lifelong fan since. I don't think I've ever missed an episode. Now, what I want to say in regards to this now is that I'm not one of those people that are a bit crazy about it.
Same.
I'm not going around wearing t-shirts every day.
Yeah.
Doing promos
With
in the
belts hanging
bathroom
off
in
your
the
shoulder.
mornings. I'm not one of those people that you kind of look at and think, Jesus.
Give them a bit of a wide dodge.
Yeah. Get a bit of a life sort of thing. So I do have a separate sort of
It's just purely for the
life over
entertainment
the
value.
But it's a distraction from the
It is,
everyday
yeah.
world. So what I thought we'll do today, we'll go through the card for WrestleMania, have a chat about that. You know, make some predictions. What's good, what's not. What the one thing I thought last year's WrestleMania, because it was the first one they've done without a crowd,
Yeah.
I thought they did a cracking job making it 2 nights. The highlight was Taker and AJ Styles in that match, where obviously it was edited and cut to suit the match. That was brilliant as well. But I thought there was too many singles matches.
Agreed.
And this is one of my biggest pet hates at the minute with WWE, in the sense that they start to name pay-per-views about the match type they're going to do. For example, TLC.
Yeah.
So you know at TLC it's very unlikely you're going to see Hell in a Cell.
Exactly.
And that kind of frustrates me a little bit, because again, it ruins the element of surprise.
Yeah.
I think I know. Do you know why they do it?
I don't know. What's your ideas on that?
I think they do it because it's to do with money and numbers. So if you're the owner of that stadium,
arena,
yeah. And you're hosting TLC, we can look at the numbers for the last few years of TLC. We know we're getting a good deal here. We're going to get so many thousands in. We're going to get so many receipts, and also as well for the broadcasters, they're going to know their numbers for against other shows that could be on at roughly the same time when it's aired. So I think that's why they've done that.
I think that's part of the reason, but wouldn't that just be the same as advertising a match at that venue anyway?
Yeah, but
So, for example,
usually the matches.
They're not.
Vince tends to chop and change, doesn't he? Vince is.
There's not much notice, is there?
No, you probably get look at that steel cage match, Braun Strowman and Shane. That was announced last week.
Yeah.
So it's very unlikely that. I mean, they probably do know, Vince and co, the story creators. They'll know roughly what's going on, but Vince has got a habit of changing things at the last minute.
Yeah.
So I think if they did that way, where the arenas and owners of them knew roughly what matches were on, they'd have to know like a year in advance, because they have to book these in. So that really frustrates me. I used to love nothing more like that Braun Strowman Shane match. As soon as Braun started opening his mouth, because people were getting involved, I thought steel cage match.
Yeah.
But the element of you was good, because you didn't know that was going to go down that route. You maybe had an idea, but I like the idea of someone coming out and saying, right, I've had enough, I challenge you to X, Y and Z match. And then it's like, oh, okay, that's a bit of a twist for the pay-per-view. But because they name pay-per-views Hell in a Cell, TLC, Elimination Chamber, you know what's coming.
Yeah.
And all you don't know is who's in it. And even then, a few weeks before, you can guess.
Yeah.
So that's my only pet hate, and I think
that's quite a fair one.
Yeah, I think the
Absolutely.
PG era killed a lot of.
Yes, it did.
I mean, I don't know what WWE's main thought process was like, because if you're a fan growing up 10, 11, and you're still watching it at 19, 20, 21, when you get to that 2021, most people still watch it anyway. But with the fact they changed it to PG, that just makes it even more wanting to not watch it. And I think that's where, unfortunately, AEW are going to reign supreme.
Really?
The reason behind that is they're not PG. They can do what they want, story-wise. They're not scared of any backlash. Whereas, because you set a precedent in WWE that's a PG, you have to be very careful what you do. Unless you're Randy Orton, you can burn someone alive in the middle of the ring. But let's move on to the WrestleMania card. I'm not going to go through all the matches, because there's some on there that, in my opinion, are not really worth talking about, to be honest.
There's always a fair point.
we know we've got the Andre the Giant Memorial match, Battle
Royal, yeah.
That's going to be pre-WrestleMania on the pre-card.
Yes.
They've got Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode versus the Street Profits. Got a feeling that ain't going to be aired neither.
Do you not reckon? No.
I don't reckon. They always seem to put a championship match on the pre-watch on their network or
Well, that's another thing on this SmackDown. I'm sure they said they're gonna have a title match on next week's.
Oh really?
Something like
I
that.
must admit to those who are listening, I've
Could
not
be wrong.
watched this week's SmackDown this week, due to being at work, so I've been busy. But I can get the gist of what's been happening, what's going on. But let's go and have a look at the first match that sticks out to me is the United States Championship match, Riddle and Sheamus.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to this one, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, it's a singles match. I love what they're doing to Matt Riddle. He's
Yeah.
a character. We can skip past the fact that a couple of weeks ago we had Bobby Lashley stamping on his foot, and the camera unfortunately showed his feet where Bobby Lashley never touched him,
Yes.
nowhere near him. Let's look past that.
Yeah.
But again, that's not really Matt Riddle's fault anyway. But I'm sure the cameraman would have probably got an earache.
Yeah, I think he
after
would
that.
have got a bit of a turn off afterwards.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead. Should we do the prediction first, or should we chat then do the prediction after? I don't know. What do you
I
think?
was thinking maybe like a quick chat and a rundown, or
Yeah,
it's up to
we'll do
you.
that. Yeah, let's make the prediction at the end of what we're
Yeah,
discussing. So, Sheamus. He's been in it for years, hasn't he?
He was
doesn't
even
seem to
like,
go anywhere.
I'm not sure if you remember this or not, but on like a D-Generation X DVD, he was like one of the security at one point on it.
Was he really?
Yeah, that was like 2008 or something.
They all seem to have a little bit of history. Like Alexa
do that,
Bliss
yeah.
was when Triple H was coming out of WrestleMania. He come out of a chair and he had all these like women that came out
Yeah.
with him wearing masks, and Alexa Bliss was one of those. So that's, I think, just before she started moving to the main roster
Yeah.
and doing it.
So I think, like you said, they do that quite a bit with wrestling talent and stuff.
Yeah,
They must
and
do.
if they've got the people there, they might as well
Exactly,
use their own
yeah.
people.
Just use them.
Security and things like that. You always find that are wrestlers that are just coming up through NXT or
Exactly,
something,
yeah.
or the indie circuit. But yeah, let's go. So Sheamus and Matt Riddle. Like I say, Matt Riddle's character at the minute is brilliant. I love what they're doing with him.
Yeah.
He's going around on a scooter.
Scooter.
He's making me laugh, and it's a bit fresh
Yeah.
than what's been going on.
There's no one else like it, is there?
That's why I think he's got that down. That character's got it down. My only fear was he's got the ability in ring. He's a former member of UFC,
Yeah.
so he knows all his MMA stuff. So what we can do in the ring is never really a question. The question for me was more around his character. I never understood why he wrestled barefoot, and then until he announced on
Yeah.
Raw, he mentioned why it was.
It's Raw. Yeah.
He
it's
announced
one-off.
he had frostbite as a kid, didn't he? So he can't wear them now because he gets pain. So no one wrestles barefoot. That's
Yeah.
something different about him, number one. But his character, I was worried about because I thought you don't see many people come from MMA or UFC come over and get over with the crowd. Ronda Rousey did it, but she was really rusty at the start.
Yeah, but as a brand, she was already known as well. Like, her name was massive.
It was, but in terms of a character, 'cause
Yeah.
she had to move away from UFC Ronda to WWE Ronda,
Yeah.
which took her a while to do, I thought. But Matt Riddle's got it down.
Oh yeah.
Now my fear was, as soon as he moved to Raw, Vince McMahon's going to pour cold water on the whole thing, and he'll just see him wrestling the start of Raw, and then probably move down to superstars or main event or whatever. I was really worried about that because I thought the guy's got talent, he's there. But I'm so glad that they've enhanced him. They know his bro character. They've enhanced that now, and they've gave him a bit more freedom over his content. I watched his documentary on the network. I think
I've
it was
actually watched that, yeah,
WWE
no.
24 on the network he was on.
Is it Arrival? You said.
He went Rivals. No, it's like
Arrival.
No, it's 24. WWE 24. It's where they do like specials
Yeah,
on
no, I've
wrestlers.
seen them.
And they did like a whole thing of him moving from NXT to Raw. Or it might actually no, I'll tell a lie.
I'm sure it was
Because-
Arrival. You said.
I'm not too sure,
It
but
was something
either
like
way,
that, yeah.
it's on the WWE network. Look it up, Matt Riddle. I'm pretty sure he was going to NXT. That's where it was. So he showed him moving house with his family, moving to up to Stamford, I think it was, where the headquarters were. So I love, the character that he's got going down.
Yeah. Well, like you said, just very quickly, you wouldn't think he's an ex-UFC fighter because he's so far distant from that now. Just shows how talented he is.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. It's not easy going from one
Exactly.
to the other.
Yeah.
Look at CM Punk.
Yeah.
He went from WWE, professional wrestling to UFC and found how hard it was. And then you've got vice versa. It's difficult either way, that transition.
Yeah.
You've got to train your body and mind to do something completely different. Like, you're no longer now, if you're UFC, taking real hits. You've got to take bumps, but you're not taking real hits, so you don't have to be on your guard. You just got to be in sync with your. I always compare it to dancing. You've got to be in sync with your
chemistry,
partner. Yeah, you got to have that chemistry. So Matt Riddle, I love his character. I love the fact that when he's backstage and his little skits, people walk off when they're talking to him, and he's just left there still talking. Love the chemistry he had in the New Day. But yeah, I'm really excited about that match, and I'm glad they put a belt on him.
Yeah,
I think that was needed to
absolutely,
to broaden his character.
Because after a bit, it just goes stale, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. But it seems whoever it is in creative,
they've
I
pushed
don't
it.
think it was Vince. I think it would have been somebody else that's been in Vince's ear and said, this guy has got something that's just enhanced it.
Exactly, yeah.
Sheamus has come out of nowhere as being a bit more of a brute force recently.
Yeah, he has.
He's gone from being in a group with Rusev. Who else was in that? It was the United Kingdom, as they call it.
Crikey, that was a lot. Yeah, was Drew McIntyre in that by any chance? I don't think he was it?
He could have been.
Yeah, well, I do remember it was like a group of
Europeans, wasn't it? It wasn't. There was no Americans in it.
Was Jinder Mahal in that with Rusev?
He might have been, actually. I think it was Jinder Mahal.
It was a while ago.
Maybe your listeners could tell me. Leave a comment below and tell us who's United Kingdom.
Please do.
We remember Rusev was in it, and we also remember that Sheamus was in it.
Yeah.
But his character went stale very quickly.
No wonder we don't remember it.
Yeah, well, there you go. Exactly. So yeah, when Sheamus came back and he had that little, was it Test of 7 strength or something? Or Test of 7 that Mick Foley introduced with him and Sheamus and Cesaro. There was that series of like 7 matches or something where.
Oh yeah. And
Mick
then they
Foley
eventually became a tag team.
Yeah, so Mick Foley was on that formed them, but they did
Yeah.
this big 7 series and they were beating each other. Then Mick Foley said, "Look, you guys would work better if you worked as a team." And then the Bar was born.
Yes.
I still think that held back both of them, even though there wasn't many tag teams about, and no one could really go against the Shield. There wasn't anyone that was the Shield standard.
No.
So one thing I would say about the Bar is that they were great for the tag team division because there wasn't many tag teams about, and the tag team started to form. Because a lot of time it was putting singles guys together, trying to pass them off as a tag team. But I like it when they've got a team, they're wearing the same outfits, they're sharing the same music, they bring up moves together. Love that.
Yes.
And that's when they were really short on teams, I thought.
They still are to a certain extent.
To a certain extent, they are, but it's improving.
It's improving a lot, yeah.
So with Sheamus now, I love this. He's got this sort of Irish gangster look, and his flat cap and his white vest and his
with his like his what do you call them, straps you put on the
yeah,
shoulder?
the straps on his pants and that. I can't remember what they call. But yeah, I know what you mean. He looks like a brute now.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of going slightly off the subject, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, where it's set in London.
Yeah.
In the 1900s, it might be 1800s, and it's a lot of mobsters. In fact, no, I'll tell you, compare it to what's that show? Peaky Blinders.
Oh yeah,
he looks a bit like that, doesn't he?
He does. Now you've said it, yeah.
And I like that character, and he's really rough. He's brute. There was a lot of complaints over him not being very safe.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, many a time there's been reports of like Ryback when he left, CM Punk. Made a few. Well, CM Punk made a lot of claims that weren't really true. But yeah, I think it's the way he works. To be fair, and he wouldn't be around where he is now if he wasn't safe, in my opinion. But so who are you going with this one? So it's United States Championship. It's Matt Riddle. It's Sheamus. Sheamus hasn't won anything really recently in terms of belts. His character's enhancing, but they've only just put the belt on Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
That could go either way. To be fair, I'm thinking though, just based on how they're completely building Sheamus up to be a brute, I'm thinking Sheamus.
Yeah, I'm going to go that way as well.
Yeah.
I think that's
Unfortunately,
not the only match
for Riddle that is, but I think there'll still be a rivalry to be had afterwards.
Yeah, that's got a good 8 weeks worth of stuff to go on. They could go down. Hopefully,
it's another pay-per-view. Yeah,
that'd be really good. You don't see them matches anymore, and they've reduced that as well. Last time there's an Iron Man match was Seth Rollins. I can't remember who was against, but they've reduced it to 30 minutes.
See, I don't see the point in that.
It reduces the whole idea of
Yeah.
it, because if it's 30 minutes, not normally a WrestleMania match can be 20-25 minutes.
Yeah, so
The whole idea of an Iron Man is it's supposed to be difficult.
Yeah, it defeats the object a little bit.
Yeah. So that was Sheamus and Matt Riddle.
Yep.
So let's move on to the next one. Who I'm going to pick out. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn.
Kevin Owens.
I'm going to go out on the limit and say I cannot stand Sami Zayn any way, shape or form. And that's not because that's the way he makes me feel, because that's what his character's supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's because I just do not like his character. I don't like his gimmick. I don't like his in-ring style.
Yeah. Although to be fair, sometimes you don't really see much of that because of all this, like jabbering and like pointing that finger at the referee and running around and stuff. So his matches aren't always that long.
Yeah, you don't
on the odd
see
occasion.
You don't see it that much, but I don't think it's needed. I never forget
No.
going to a wrestling event in my hometown, Manchester, England, and it was a 6-man tag. And I remember Undertaker tagged in Mysterio, and then somebody tagged in Brock Lesnar, and then you had Rey Mysterio chasing Brock Lesnar around the ring.
Ah.
You'd never have that
You'd
now.
never know.
I'm pretty sure in Lesnar's contract there's strict rules that he's set on stuff like that. So with Sami Zayn though, I get what his character's supposed to be like, and I really hope this documentary that he's supposedly doing as part of the story is not actually a real documentary. Do not want to watch that. I just cannot stand the boy. He's just useless. I don't see. I think Kevin Owens has had nothing to do on
Yeah.
WrestleMania week.
Just
What do we
give him
do? Let's just put him with
Give him
Sami
that job.
Zayn.
Yeah.
And that's ruined it a bit for me, because Kevin Owens is much better than that.
He is talented, yeah.
So for that one, I'm going to go out and say Kevin Owens is going to win that, just because he needs more of a push than Sami Zayn.
Straight away I thought I just said Kevin Owens, but thinking about it, there's this little Logan Paul thing with Sami Zayn in the background, isn't there?
Oh, God.
So
yeah,
is he
I'm
going to be some
start
sort
on
of
that.
interference or something?
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Sami Zayn's going to cheat. Hopefully he's going to get caught out, and that's when
Yeah.
Owens goes strike and get the win.
No, it'll probably be, going with Kevin Owens on that one.
Moving on then. So we're going to go both Kevin Owens with that one.
Yes.
Brilliant. Moving on then. Intercontinental Championship. Big E versus Apollo Crews. Well, straight away you didn't like the sound of that. What's that about?
I don't know. I mean, I'm glad it's been defended on WrestleMania, because for some reason, I'm not sure if you picked up on this, but before quite a few pay-per-views, they'll be defending the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown the Friday before pay-per-view. They've done that quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm
And
not
that's frustrating, like, it's a big title.
They've always done that though.
Have they really?
Yeah, I remember going back now, Fully Loaded
Okay.
1999. I think it's Jeff Jarrett was the IC champ, and Edge beat him at a house show on the 2 days before
Yeah.
the pay-per-view. So when Edge came out with the belt, I was thinking, he didn't win that on Raw.
Oh,
And SmackDown wasn't about then, there was only Raw.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Heat was around, but they never really put. Jeff Jarrett wouldn't be seen on that, because at the time he had a big push.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, how's he won that? Then they're showing pictures of the event house show saying, oh, Edge won it there, and then I think Jeff Jarrett won it back at the Fully Loaded. So they do it. It's just rare.
Okay.
But I think they do it more now.
Well, it's
Because
about
of-
time they put it on a pay-per-view anyway.
But they do
They
it
had
on
to.
YouTube, don't they? Social media. To get more
Yeah.
likes, more subscriptions.
Yeah.
We're trying to do the same here, aren't we,
Well.
really?
Yeah, I can't
Um,
knock 'em for that.
My only point with Apollo Crews, I never not liked his character. I
Same.
thought he was very underused. Big E, for me, he's already where he needs to be.
Yeah, he's singles competitor.
The separation
Yeah.
from the New Day kind of worked
Had
for
to.
him. But Apollo Crews...
I think when I went, I think you were going to say the same thing now. So I'm just going to let you speak and see
Well,
if it is.
we've discussed this before.
We
So,
have, yeah.
We know that Kofi Kingston had a Jamaican accent. Here we go, right. So he had a Jamaican accent, and then they made a big joke out of it on Survivor Series when they had a Triple H was teamed up. It was DX
Yeah.
and Kofi Kingston, CM Punk, I think Kane versus another team. And then Kofi said something, Triple H said, where did your Jamaican accent go?
Yeah.
That they made a joke of it, because it did fizzle out. But I don't know. I mean, I get accents fizzling out.
Yes.
Because you can make more sense. Oh, well, he's been in America for so long.
But to switch it up straight away.
But to switch it from American to Nigerian randomly and go, this is my real
Yeah.
accent, this is my real voice, that's not passed. And that had Vince McMahon all over it.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
It's not even like it's a good accent he's putting on, but straight away you're able to tell that it's not his natural.
Yeah, it's you tell it's not natural. You can absolutely tell it's not natural. So, yeah, we've discussed that in terms of Big E and Apollo Crews.
Yes.
Who do you think's will win?
Um,
Who needs it the most?
First and foremost, I think it's a decent rivalry, isn't it?
Yeah, it's come out of nowhere, and
Yeah.
it's because I think
It
Big
was
E needed
needed.
someone. Yeah, Big E needed someone to compete against, so you weren't sure because Big E's a big fella.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you can't keep on facing with smaller guys like Mustafa
Sami
Ali
Zayn.
or Sami Zayn because
Yeah.
you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
At some point, Big E's going to get the upper hand, but now they've put him against Apollo Crews, who's got a really good technical and aerial ability for a guy his size. He's strong, but he's agile, doing moonsaults and flips and stuff. I'm going to go with, just based on the character, they're going to want to. They've got a habit of making characters up and then fizzling them out over time. Big one would be, what was his name? The real Maharaja.
Oh, Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
They had a habit of. They put him on. They've given the title, but I think that's from promote overseas.
Yeah.
The greatest Royal Rumble and stuff.
Yes.
They had to give him the title for that and to get more attraction. But they had a really good character. Then they've just fizzled him out.
Yep.
They've got what they want. We're overseas now in Saudi Arabia.
Another
They've
one
got
out
the
of
fans.
3MB as well.
Let's not discuss that.
No.
3MB never existed.
No, it
It
never
only
existed.
benefited one guy, and I don't, it didn't benefit Drew McIntyre.
Not in the slightest, no.
Actually, well, in a way, it did.
Yeah, in a way it did. It made him
Because it made him come back and reinvent himself.
reinvent himself, yeah.
So, yeah, fair play to that. But with Apollo, I'm going to go with Apollo Crews on this one purely because they've invested in the character now. They've thrown ideas at him and said, "Look, this is where I want your character to go. This is where I want you to go with it." I think they're going to give it him.
See, I was thinking that also because of his character, but I'm gonna go Big E.
You got to go Big E on that one.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Just
We'll
because-
we'll find out.
Just
gonna
just
find
because
out.
of the old the whole singles thing, and they're trying to give him a bit of a push now.
Yeah.
So
So the next one I'm really excited to talk about is the Fiend, Bray Wyatt
yes.
and Randy Orton. Now, I didn't know where they were going to go with his character after they burnt him
No, same, no.
alive. There was rumours that he was going to go back to his original Bray Wyatt character. And I've been thinking to myself, well, how could they do that? Because it's
Exactly,
making
yeah.
look like the last 12 to 18 months never really existed, when that was, for me, his best 18 months
Yeah.
as a character. I love Bray Wyatt.
Yeah,
I loved
same,
him
yeah.
when he was started, when he was teamed up.
Husky Harris.
Husky
Nexus.
Harris. Actually, funny story this.
Yes.
Funny stories. So I was in Red 5, which was my job at the time. I worked in it's a gadget shop in a big department store in the UK. And he was in there shopping with his missus. Now Husky Harris is, he's a big guy. He doesn't, when you see him in person, or when you looked at him that time, he doesn't look like the sort of guy that he'd be with like a supermodel girlfriend. And there was him, and there was this really attractive woman with him. I'm thinking, I don't see the connection there. And I'm looking at him thinking, what's the attraction there? Oh, she's beautiful. I'm like, she's supermodel, stunning. I'm thinking she's with this guy. And I thought this guy must be some sort of celebrity or something.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, after he left, I went, that's Husky Harris.
Oh.
I was gutted that I
It's
realised
not,
afterwards.
yeah.
But that was, he only had a few matches. And
Just
it
imagine if you
it's
got a
with,
picture of him back then.
What was that?
Imagine if you got a picture of him back then.
I know that would have been good for the Bucks, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And I mean, it'd be the first one I would have met as well, to be fair.
Exactly, yeah.
And then, you've got him coming in the department store, leaving, then I'm realising, I googled it straight away to make sure while my image of him was fresh, that he was in, and it was, and I was gutted.
Oh.
But his character now, The Fiend, I really, really love the character. I went to Raw in 2019, and the matches didn't have him advertised, but there was speculation that he was going to do a little run-in after they stopped airing the show on, I think may have been SmackDown, and it was brilliant. The music was eerie, the characters eerie, and I thought the only person that's had this sort of calibre of character is The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Even though it's not fair to compare the two.
No.
That's the only one who, and Kane as well for that matter.
Actually, yeah.
Because they've had that mysterious gimmick, and they only have The Undertaker and Kane with that gimmick, and then they give it to Bray Wyatt as well. So he's got a lot of standing up to do with that. So yeah, when he did when they moved from Bray Wyatt to the Fiend, loved it. I mean, at first when he did those little sketches with those little puppets,
Oh, the Cyclops Fun House.
yeah, I wondered where the hell they're going with this.
To be fair though, that was always entertaining.
It wasn't entertaining, but from an in-ring perspective, I wasn't sure where they're going to go with it. Because
It was more so entertaining when you knew where he was actually going with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
in the end, when you found out,
Yes.
oh, hang on a minute, what's going on here?
So
And
it's
you saw
turned a bit dark.
Yeah, it went dark and you saw his face and the mask, and I thought, oh my god, this is where they're going with it.
Yeah.
They've kept this well and truly under wraps, and they've done a cracking job because, like you say, social media gives it all away now, so they did really well with that. With the Fiend, the character now though, what I'm worried about is I love the gimmick where he's been burnt. It looks good. They've done that with Kane to an extent.
Yeah.
Okay.
On a different level, but
On a different level because he came in already apparently burnt.
yeah.
But with what they've did with Bray now is that they've made him, in a way, he can't go back to what he was doing.
That's it now. Yeah. They've put all their eggs in one basket.
They have.
so to speak.
They have. So are they going to keep Alexa Bliss as the mouthpiece because he looks more dominant and scary when he doesn't say anything?
He's not said anything, has he, since he's been back?
No. So are they going to keep him quiet and then have him as this really strong force that can't be messed with? Your Darth Vaders of this world. Kane, when he first came into it, he didn't have a voice until he got a voice box. If that's the route they're going to go down, I hope they stick to it, because when they did it with Kane lifted that. Obviously with the removal of the voice box, the removal of the mask. Right, so do you know what Kane's first 2 words were without the voice box were?
No.
Suck it.
Was he really?
It was. So he was a member. I won't say he's a member of DX. He was affiliated with DX
with them, yeah.
because he was tag team with X-Pac.
Yeah.
And then I remember X-Pac and Road up in the ring and they said, "Oh, we got 2 words for you." Oh, but Kane's got 2 words for you, and they gave him the mic, and that's his first 2 words. So everybody heard on Raw, which was great.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that match with Randy Orton. Randy Orton's character, he has turned it up.
Absolutely.
Since, I mean, this is the best Randy Orton we've seen since probably when he was with Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes, when he had he was the Legend Killer gimmick.
Yeah.
But he also had that sick, sadistic thing where obviously he'd kick people in the head.
Yes, he did.
And he'd do horrible things. One of the most sickening things I've seen done. It's probably not big to many people, but I remember when he had a big row with Triple H, and I think Triple H ended up throwing him through a window in his house.
Yep, that was good.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
So before that, what triggered it was when he RKO'd
Stephanie
in the ring.
Yeah.
And he sort of slowly crept up to her and kissed her.
Yes.
And I thought that was really eerie and sickening.
While he was tied up on the ropes.
That's it, yeah. And I thought, Triple H was handcuffed one at the time and he couldn't do anything about it. That's what made it even better, because it's Randy saying, "I can do what I want, you can't do nothing to me." And just the way he went about his business, that character was brilliant.
Yeah.
And then he went away from that for a long time. It seemed to be...
Randy Orton for a bit, they've had to do this with him now, haven't they, really?
I think so, yeah, they've had to do it. But I thought they weren't going to go back to it. Because what is it now? He's in his early 40s. And I thought this is where they'll start to fizzle him out. And he said on some podcasts as well that in his twilight of his career, he knows now there's people that are going to be coming in, are going to be better and above him, and he has to make way for them. So I think that now that he's gone back to that, it's brought me back as a fan.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
He's brought me back as a fan now for sure. I like watching him now, watch his promos.
I think Randy Orton's one of the best on the mic as well, not just in the ring, but on the mic.
Yeah, on the
his
mic.
Promos as well.
On the mic, he's brilliant.
Yes.
And this is why I'm really looking forward to this, because it's going to be that sort of eerie, supernatural match.
Yeah.
I know they've squared off before in that House of Horrors, but I think this is going to eclipse that altogether. This is going to be something completely different. In terms of winning that,
I think I know where it's going to go.
It's going to have to be.
It's going to have to be, yeah, surely. I mean,
I'm not going to speculate on how.
No, leave that to
there's going to be lighter fluid or gasoline, and there's going to be a flame in there somewhere.
There's going to be some sort of fire somewhere along the line. But I think it's going to be it'll probably be the Fiend.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Fiend.
Although the Randy Orton thing he did when he burnt him, you can't really come back from that now. He brought his character back to be a badass.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Fiend.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Randy Orton's done too much to him.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's only fair that Fiend gets the win over him.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go on for a while, that rivalry. I don't know where they're going to go.
Yeah, I don't see them just stopping it like that.
But this is the second WrestleMania they've done on 2 nights, and there's going to be a crowd in there as well.
Exactly, that's going to improve it a
So
lot.
they can't be doing any cuts
No.
and editing. It's going to be live.
No.
So they're going to have to really work that well.
There's no stipulation, is there? Or is there? Is that wrong?
I know some of the stuff they've done, they've had to do with cuts, and they've done it really
Yeah.
well. Like, you can clearly tell, obviously we know that wasn't really Bray Wyatt being burnt.
No, you could tell it's too still.
But it's good how they edited it. Because
Yeah.
you've got those TV monitors that have got people on them, like crowd,
Yeah.
the virtual crowd.
Obviously, they're just watching it from like our perspective. though.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I don't know how they've done that because it confused when I think about it. So I'm not.
there must be like a camera or a laptop set while they're watching on TV or something
I
like
think
that.
they must just put that in because it's digital, and the people that are watching from home, I think it just obviously they're watching from our perspective, but they're on the screen there.
Yeah.
But I noticed the screens go off, so I reckon they've pre-filmed that and they've just edited and put it in afterwards.
Oh, do you reckon? Yeah.
Yeah, so I reckon they'll probably film it where they're in the ring talking, and then it skips then to where they've done it pre-show, edited it, put it out, and then it'll go back to the crowd when that edited bit's finished. So,
Yeah.
for example, the match was there live, then the bit where he was about to drop the lighter, that was pre-edited before the
yeah.
show, and then after he was burning, it was then
film their
flipped back to
reaction.
the actual live show for
Yes.
the reaction. Yeah, so I think that's how they did it. It was a good idea, but like I say, it's PG era. I'm not sure if they're still PG. I'm not sure if they moved away from that, but because if they have, it doesn't explain why they're still, on some aspects, it's lagging behind AEW a little bit.
In terms of, yeah, I see what you mean. In terms of being like a higher rating, more.
Just a bit more violence.
That's basically more violence.
Because I know
one
there's
way.
rules now. You can't hit with chair shots in the head.
Across the head, it has to be on the back or something
Vince
like
has
that.
banned a lot of that things, to be honest. I don't think you're allowed to call them titles anymore, neither, the belts.
Really?
No, I think you stop that. He stopped a few things.
There's a few things that have been banned, yeah.
Thigh slaps have been banned.
Thigh slaps?
So when, say for instance, someone's going to go for a knee to the face,
Yeah.
and you hear it, it sounds like a tooth's come out.
Yeah.
That's either the guy that's doing the knee or the guy that's receiving the knee is doing a thigh slap to make it sound more
Yes.
impactful. He's banned that now. Not
They,
sure
banned,
why.
they banned the curb stomp for a bit, didn't they?
It's a dangerous move, though, isn't it?
It is, but if it's done correctly then. But obviously it could go wrong.
It works. I'm not sure. I think they banned it more because his character was a face at the time.
Yeah, and then that's when was he using a pedigree or something?
Yeah, the pedigree for that, didn't he? And then he had the ripcord knee. Because he used that after he broke John Cena's nose, didn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah, went on and used that for a while. But let's move back on
Yeah.
to we've diverted from the discussion at hand. We've both got to go with the Fiend on that one then. We agreed.
Yes, I agreed with
Right.
that.
We've no idea how it's going to end.
No, but
It's going to be,
it's fairly obvious.
but they've got a lot of expectations to live up to
Yes.
if they're going off Undertaker and AJ's match last year, because
Yeah.
that was the Boneyard match was eerie, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. To be fair though, I was looking forward to him being like the American badass coming down on a motorbike, but I don't think that was ever on, was it? Or was it?
The idea of that match was supposed to be riding off in the sunset, wasn't it?
Yeah, because
Western
like I was saying, if it was at a stadium where you've actually gone back to that thing, that type of character,
Yeah, he was looking.
that'd have been good. That
I think
but
he had to because he wanted to say goodbyes, didn't he? And have
Yeah.
that.
like coming out on the motorbike. Or,
Yeah.
yeah. But what he did though with the tools at hand and changing it all back, that was really good.
Yeah. So the next match we'll have a look at. There's Oscar versus Rhea Ripley. Not gonna be. I love Oscar. I don't know really who Rhea Ripley is. I don't watch NXT, so I know the people are raving about her. I can't see her winning that. To be honest, I think Oscar. I'm gonna go with Oscar for that match against Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, same. I think that's probably a rivalry that will go on as well.
Yeah, definitely, because it might even spread further. I mean, Charlotte's out
Yeah.
at the moment, and she came back and then she had COVID.
Oh, did she really?
Yeah, she had COVID and she wasn't able to come back, so they've written her out of WrestleMania completely. Doesn't mean she might make an appearance though, because this was
No.
weeks ago she wrote out.
Yeah.
So obviously she'll be COVID free by now, providing all as well. And I'm guessing she'll probably make an appearance.
Yes.
How though? I don't, she was Oscar's tag team partner at the time, wasn't she? So,
At one point she was, yeah.
so that'd be interesting. So this is, by the way, guys, this is night 2 apparently that we're reading off here for the card.
Oh, okay.
I've just realised that. So Roman Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan.
Is that night 2?
That's night 2, apparently, yeah.
So-
On Sunday the 11th. What do you think of that?
I don't think the title's going to change hands. Just pure and simply because I think like you're not too keen on a triple threat
No.
match, are you?
No.
I kind of like that, but I think what might happen is end up being Daniel Bryan being pinned. The title won't change hands, and Edge complaining that he still wants his one-on-one match, and it's going to go on, and he will have a one-on-one at
Yeah,
that
I
point.
can't see Edge being pinned, to be honest with you.
Same, yeah. I don't think he'll be pinned.
No. I love what they've done with Roman Reigns for the past
Yes.
12 months. Roman Reigns has just nailed it.
Absolutely.
I hated the character that he originally brought out in NXT. Then when he joined the Shield, they had that 3-guy Shield, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. I feel as though Rollins and Dean Ambrose established their characters more than Roman did.
Yeah.
Because Seth was the leader,
He was
so
like,
he got a lot of mic talk.
the architect.
The architect,
Yeah.
he had a nickname as well. And then you had Dean Ambrose, who was like the crazy one. He just wanted violence, he just wanted to fight. But Roman was sort of just the one that stuck out as keeping the Shield composed.
The muscle, in a way.
He didn't really have...
Yeah.
He had the in-ring ability,
Yeah.
but he didn't have the mic skills. And I think when he had that one-on-one slandering match with John Cena,
Oh, yeah.
that was John Cena testing the waters. And let's face it, John Cena can say whatever he wants. Even if Vince says you can't say this, you can't say that, he's still going to say it because he's the golden boy.
It's not gonna
Vince
get
would never say that to him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, he wouldn't say that to him. So when John Cena went out there and said a few things, because obviously that was the PG area still,
Yes.
and there was a few swear words that were involved. And again, that's why I think John Cena, he's John Cena, gets slapped on the wrist.
Yeah.
Everyone else would probably got fired. But John Cena, he got away with it. And I think that's when Roman Reigns, it didn't feel like it was rehearsed. That it felt like it was just happening there in the ring. Because they're both talented on the mic.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but in terms of skill, Roman was nowhere near John Cena or any other historical character. Even the Miz is like, I consider the Miz the best on the mic.
Oh, yeah.
And Roman,
And he's one of the best, yeah. I agree with that.
I think he's the best.
Oh, really?
I really do. I think the three that come to mind, when someone says to me, who are the best now, name your top 3. Okay, I'll tell you what then, I'll ask you, you name your top 3 ever on the mic. Ever on the mic.
Straight away, I'm going to say The Rock, obviously.
Okay, that's a given.
Straight away. I think The Miz will be there.
So The Miz is in your top 3. So it's The Rock, The Miz.
Of all time. Now, I can't really think of a third. It's too many.
They'll just name one that you're thinking of. Would you put Taker in there? Because even though his character's not that great on the mic, when he did have the mic.
But when he did have the mic, you could hear a pin drop. People listened to him.
Oh yeah.
What he did.
Without doubt.
He
owned the crowd.
He owned, yeah. Just like his entrance.
I'll tell you what my 3 are.
Go on.
And I'm going to put this in order for you.
In order, okay.
I'm going to put 3rd place, The Miz.
Yeah.
Right? 2nd place, The Rock.
Oh, second.
But in 1st place, Road Dogg.
Road Dogg. See, yeah, he was really good on the mic, but I'd still rank The Rock.
And do you know
first.
why I moved The Rock to 2nd?
Why?
Because The Rock did when he came back to face John Cena in those matches.
Oh,
he
yeah.
He had the notes wrote down on his wrist.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, it kind of ruined it for me.
See, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know that until John Cena started, when he did the rap battle. John Cena took this out of him for that, basically. But Road Dogg, he never made a mistake on the mic. He was very entertaining. He had the crowd going along with him and everything. I think Road Dogg could just pull something out of his backside and just go with it.
Yes.
Without making a mistake. So in terms of just random mic skills, Road Dogg would get it hand down for me, number 1.
Oh, okay.
Get well soon, by the way, Road Dogg.
Oh, yeah.
If you ever get round to listening to this podcast, which is very unlikely. I mean, it'd be great if he did.
It would be really good.
Yeah, we've heard Road Dogg, unfortunately, is I think he had a heart attack a couple of weeks ago. So the initial test last week that came back was, I've heard we're okay, but get well soon, Road Dogg.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of mic skills, now where Roman Reigns is, I think now he's better than what he was. And I thought, because Paul Heyman does most of the speaking.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. With mic skills, where do managers come into it?
Paul Heyman's hands down. There's no
Basically,
one better than
him
Paul
and
Heyman.
MVP.
Yeah, MVP.
Absolutely. Yeah.
See, the only thing I would say about that is MVP's fresher than Paul Heyman, because Paul Heyman comes out, he does his quotes, but I think that's more for t-shirts and public stuff.
Yeah.
My name is Paul Heyman. You know, when he was Brock Lesnar, he'd come out with that same skit every week.
Yeah.
But now it's with Roman Reigns, I think it's probably been paired with him purely because like Roman needs someone with a voice to make him sound as bad as he can, but then Roman now he has this soft speaking voice where he's serious. When he says something, you listen.
Yeah.
And I like that character with him now because you know, this guy that's like, you know, the big dog.
Yep.
That character's kind of gone now. He's not really referenced to, but he's now the head of the table.
Yes.
That's what I like. He's recognising now that I am the guy that's going to lead this company forward. Whereas before, he came out, he did his rah and big dog stuff, and then left. But now I think he's recognised. He's got an aura about him now. So when he walks the ring, he's slower. When he's in the ring, before he talks, he looks around, you feel his presence, he talks, and then you listen. I like that. He's got control now of the crowd.
Yeah.
And it's probably easier to do as a villain, to be fair. As a heel, it's so easy to do than it is a face.
Yeah, because you're trying to get people to hate you, effectively.
Yeah, I think it's easier to do. Because to make someone hate you...
It's a lot easier than trying to make them like you.
Exactly. Seth Rollins had that problem.
Yes.
They turned in the end, didn't
yeah.
So yeah, I think with Roman Reigns, absolutely love his character now. I can't
same.
see why they'd even consider taking the belt off him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Edge, great to see him back. What I don't understand is how he can survive an hour in a Royal Rumble, win it, and only have one match since January.
Has he had one match since then?
Yeah, Jey Uso.
He had one on Raw, don't forget, as well, with Randy Orton.
Not.
The Randy Orton Edge
what, since the Royal Rumble?
That was straight after the Rumble, yeah.
Oh, my mistake then. So okay, so it's not enough in my opinion.
It's not, obviously not.
It's nowhere near enough. I think that's why Daniel Bryan's been thrown into this, because maybe this match should have gone for 25-30 minutes. It's going to be
freshness.
I don't think it's freshness. I think it's more the fact that they're worried that the match is going to slow down maybe because
really?
Edge might blow up.
Yeah, well, freshness, like keeping someone else there to keep it going.
Yeah, and when many people might not know what the term means when I say Edge might blow up. I don't mean there's going to be pieces all over WrestleMania. What I mean is that he might just literally get out of breath and be just completely
need a second
winded, yeah, very quickly because he's not done any in-ring stuff for a long time.
I need to get his breath back.
Yeah, so I think that's why they thrown Daniel Bryan in. So you'll probably see that most of the time, triple threat, when two are squaring off, one's outside.
Someone will be outside, knocked out of the ring.
Yeah,
on the floor.
so it kind of gives the two in the ring to do their bit, then they'll swap. So I can see why they've done it, but I really would have just liked to see Edge and Roman Reigns go at it. I love Roman Reigns' new moveset. You know, I like the guillotine choke.
Yes.
That's one of my favourite moves ever. That I always used to do that when I used to play WWE games. Like, that was always my finisher or one of my signature moves. And it makes him like, because Brock Lesnar had that Kimura lock.
Yeah.
And pretty much when you got into that was it.
Out of it, yeah.
Bell's getting rung off. But this one now, it's very similar to that. I like how he uses that move to either finish somebody off or just choke them out completely.
Yeah, even if you don't give up, it's game over.
Exactly, because the referee's gonna ring the bell as soon as they're choked out. He's got the spear. He's got the Superman punch, which we all know we already had. Edge has also got the spear and a couple of additional moves. Daniel Bryan's got the submission side of it, and obviously the running knee.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a fast-paced match.
Yeah.
But I just don't like the idea of a triple threat. I just don't think they work at Mania.
I like the idea of a triple threat, but I'm with you on the side of things. It'd have been good just to see them two face off.
Yeah.
As it was previously arranged.
Yeah, I don't think... what I can see happening is it's going to be Edge and Bryan in a rivalry after this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they're going to go down that route.
I
think the only reason why Edge and Roman Reigns have got a rivalry is purely because it's convenience. Roman Reigns is champ, Edge won the belt. Roman Reigns is champ, Edge won the Rumble. Yeah. So that's why I think it's convenience. Edge would rival anyone that's got the belt. Doesn't matter who it is.
Of course, yeah.
It's not really been personal.
No.
Where it has been with Roman Reigns and somebody else. You know, previously with Jey Uso and
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
A couple of times.
But I don't think it's been to that caliber of personal when it had previously with like Kevin Owens.
That got quite. That was a really good rivalry, that as well.
That's a really good rivalry. So I think it's going to be Edge and Bryan squaring off. I think that's what Roman Reigns is hoping for, is that he'll get the win over one of those two purely because, because if you look at the recent SmackDowns, Bryan and Edge have got quite physical against each other. A couple of weeks ago,
Chair shot.
The chair shot,
Yeah.
the concerto was almost done, the one-man
Yeah.
concerto on Bryan, but Bryan managed to get out of the ring. So I think Bryan's woke the rated R superstar in him, and then them two are going to go at it. And I think, I might be wrong, but they might be looking to make Edge a heel again.
It looks like that way.
It looks like that. And Daniel,
If they are going to do that, then your prediction might have some sort of legs, because you're not going to have two heels always going at it. It's going to be, if it's Daniel Bryan and Edge, and obviously Daniel Bryan was a face, so
exactly,
you could be right.
Exactly. I think with Daniel Bryan, he's the face going into this match. Obviously, it's probably going to be his last WrestleMania by what we've seen.
By the sound of it, yeah.
Yeah, from what he said, it sounds like this is his last run, because he's talked about retiring earlier and stuff before, and he's got that injury to his neck that we know is cleared, but we don't know. Oh, it's the concussions, isn't it? Not neck, it's his concussions.
It was something like that, but obviously
Head injuries.
they have to sort of adapt the game after that, don't they, as well?
Well, he did,
Moveset.
Daniel Bryan. He's adapted it, but I
Exactly,
think he's thinking longevity after wrestling, what he wants to do. He wants to make sure that he can. So fair play to him for that. But with the way this is going to go out, I'm going to go with Roman Reigns.
Yeah, same. In what way? Possibly is it going to be an interference?
No, I don't.
No.
Jey
Hopefully not.
Uso's going to get involved, clearly.
Yeah.
But I don't see how it's going to end. I do think it's going to look like Edge is going to go for the win, but Bryan costs it somehow. That'll set off that rivalry, and then Roman's going to capitalise on them two.
Straight away, I thought it was going to be Daniel Bryan being pinned, and then Edge being quite angry that he's not had his one-on-one match, and possibly a rivalry getting like longer from them two, going down the road on their own, maybe having a one-on-one match, but
yeah, quite possible.
The championship, possibly.
Quite possible. I just hope they don't take that title off him. I think if any title's going to change, it's going to be the Raw one.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Can't see Roman Reigns dropping it.
No.
I want him to have it for so long that it's annoying. But JBL had it for like 2 years.
Yeah, he did.
And it was frustrating watching him every week. And that was the character that was able to get you to hate him. And I love to hate him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like Sami Zayn where I just hate him. I love to hate him. So when JBL did it, it was brilliant. I like that. And 2 years, every time he got into a ring with someone, you didn't think he was going to lose. But then eventually he dropped the title.
Was it John Cena?
Was it John Cena?
WrestleMania?
Yeah, that's right. John Cena WrestleMania. So yeah, that's the part 1 of WrestleMania. That's night 2. So I think we'll do, because we're heading up now to 50 minutes. I think we should do another podcast this week before WrestleMania and talk about night 1. What do you reckon?
I think possibly, because like you said, we've spent quite a long time.
We could do that.
Yeah,
we're not sure yet. We'll try our best. Episode 1's going to be going on today, and then hopefully we'll do an episode 2 before main. If not, we'll do an episode.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, we'll go sort something out.
Yeah,
WrestleMania's not until Saturday, so.
And then there's the one on Sunday as well. So
I say we'll come back Friday.
Yeah.
Record on Friday, and we'll see where we go.
Easy, yeah.
One thing I was going to mention, I'm going to go off WrestleMania and wrestling just for a moment. There's a sport I've just got into, which is F1.
Yes.
F1. I'm a big football fan. Again, soccer for you American listeners. Arsenal fan, same as yourself, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like the NFL. Big Patriots fan. Tried to get you into it, but you're not.
I wouldn't say like with NFL. I'd probably say.
You watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You watch the Super Bowl. But you've not got a team.
No, I've not actually picked a team. No.
No.
Not for the NFL.
But F1. I've hated the idea of F1 for years, right? So people have said to me, "Oh, did you watch the Grand Prix?" And my uncle Nicky tried to get me into it a few times, and people from work, especially with the job I'm in, working for a broadcaster, and also being involved with the conversation around sports quite a lot. I just get into it. But now, this guy at work, he always said to me, "Oh, you know what? You should really watch F1." So I thought, you know what? I'm going to watch the highlights of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Didn't pull me in. I like, obviously the racing's supposed to pull you in. The racing did, but my problem was I didn't know anybody. I knew Hamilton. That was it. 20 drivers. I knew Hamilton.
See, I knew a few of them just through like Sky Sports News or
something
like that.
So you knew more than me.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what changed it.
Go on.
Netflix. Now, I love Netflix.
It's absolutely great, isn't it?
Some of the stuff they're pumping out. Here's a little question for you. Do you know who Netflix were before Netflix?
I know they used to send like videos or DVDs
Love
through
Film.
people's doors. Yeah,
Love Film. You had to rent a video and post it back to them.
exactly.
How
Crikey.
they've-
How they've come from that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've had to, haven't they?
Yeah.
They've had to. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Netflix. It's cheap. 15 quid a month will get you pretty much all the content.
15? I
15
thought it
quid
was
a
less
month.
than that, like about 8 or 9.
No, that's for the standard. The cheaper version. You got tiers, and you got tier 1 and tier 2. So tier
Yeah.
1 will get you Netflix with one device. And then
Oh, okay,
you get
yeah.
up to 4
Yeah,
devices
absolutely,
with the premium tier.
Yeah.
And in HD, Ultra HD. But Netflix got me into it because they've done a documentary on the F1 called Drive to Survive. And if anyone's listening to this and has been thinking about getting into F1 or wanting to watch F1, but found themselves getting maybe a bit bored halfway through a race because they're not really understanding what's happening,
It's quite long. Yeah.
Drive to Survive, please go out, watch it. If that's one thing you take from this podcast today and you want to get into a new sport and you like racing, get into the Drive to Survive on Netflix. Series 1 to 3 are out now, 10 episodes each. And by the way, I'm not getting any money from saying this. I'm not getting any advertising money for this. This is purely just me, a fan, saying to you fans, this is worth a watch.
Although if anyone from the TV series itself wants to offer money, then we won't say no.
Well, exactly. If Netflix on the back of this, in maybe a few weeks' time, if this does blow up, which probably it won't, but if it does, fantastic.
Yeah.
Then say, these guys are pumping our shows. Then please, Netflix, contact me.
Yeah.
There's I'm on Twitter, the Geek Shed podcast.
Yeah.
The link's in the YouTube video if you want to go and have a look at the Twitter feed. And yeah, contact me. We'll discuss.
Please do. Yeah, we'll talk business.
We'll talk business, yes. But yeah, so Drive to Survive, it goes through each individual driver, talking about them. You'll get to hear from the managing directors of the cars, the teams, who's involved, what they're doing on a daily basis, before races, after races. And now I feel as though next time I watch a race, which is the Italian Grand Prix in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be able to watch that. And when the commentator talking about a particular brand
Yeah.
or a particular driver, I know who he is, and I know his personality a little bit because
Yeah.
I've seen him in interviews on this Drive to Survive. So I'm really excited now for the next race. So yeah, guys, if that's one thing you take from this podcast today, like I say, you want to get into a new sport, Drive to Survive on Netflix. I'm not sure if you're from America. I'm not sure if you're going to get that because obviously they have
Yeah, it's
different
content.
content, and so there's ways around that. You can get access to the UK
Yeah.
one. But yeah, Drive to Survive on Netflix, definitely. So where we're going to go from here, so we've got episode 2, we've just said we're going to talk about WrestleMania Night 1, and then we'll have a chat about the matches, and then I think we'll do another podcast later on next week and talk about WrestleMania, the aftermath.
Yes, and the predictions.
Yeah, and then I think what we'll do, just to freshen
Switch it
the
up.
podcast up, let's move on to something a bit different.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll move on to movies, TV series, who knows,
Football.
football. There's a lot
Yeah.
of sports out there as well.
Yeah.
But I think if we're going to go into sport, I think for an experiment we should both get into F1
Really?
just to talk about it, because then it's going to be good to, if we get really into F1, it'd be good to go back to this podcast or the following podcast about when we're talking about it and listen to it and how rookie we were when we were chatting about it,
Yeah.
and obviously what's going to happen, because Hamilton's probably going to win it again. He won the Grand Prix in
Yeah,
Bahrain.
that's it as well. It's like who has the best car, obviously probably going to win it.
Well, I think he won Bahrain, but that's the first time Hamilton's won the first race since 2015.
Yeah, it was someone else.
And then I think he's going for a record this year, and he as well for
Record amount of titles.
Yeah, the amount of times he's won it.
Yeah.
So that would be amazing if he's broke that record where he's won it first.
Yeah.
And then he also goes on to win the actual championship as well.
It'd be a good, obviously, it'd be good for
It's
him.
a feat, isn't it? It's a good feat. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. That's all we're going to have time for now. It was originally going to be 30 minutes, but we somehow
Oops.
managed to go to an hour. But I think going forward, 45-minute podcast, 30-minute podcast is where we're going to go into it, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, please leave comments in the comment section. So if there's anything you didn't like or any questions you might have, that'd be great, because we're looking for feedback. We want to improve. We're here to stay. So yeah, that'd be great if you could do that. And we're on Twitter with a Geek Shed podcast. You can search for us. Like I said, the link's going to be on YouTube as well. So thank you very much for listening. And so I'm your host Chris, and I'm saying see you later.
And I'm Tom. See you later.